Hi, everybody. I'm Corwin.
And I'm James.
And welcome to This Movie's Gay.
Ooh, we're off to the races already, guys. Hey, usually I do something up front. Usually I'm like, hey, I got to follow up. But this
he seems
follow-up,
very manic right now, and I'm confused.
Follow-up, well, yeah, this is how I go from zero to infinity and beyond. Hey, guys, we need to introduce our guest because my follow-up is actually involving a guest of ours.
Okay. So yeah, this week we are watching a very classic gay movie. It is known as The Birdcage from 1996 with Robin Williams and Nathan Lane. And joining us this week are my two great friends.
Hi, I'm Ryan.
Hello, I'm Frankie.
And Ryan, you'll remember from one of the Christmas episodes,
Episode
Scrooge
5.
and Marley. I don't know why.
I think it was episode
stumbled
5.
on that a little bit. Scrooge and Marley. I just like threw up a little in my
remember?
mouth.
It's S&M.
I know.
Yes.
I'm back for a repeat engagement.
Repeat. He wants to talk about poppers.
Guys,
Who said poppers?
I have a follow-up. It involves a guest.
Okay.
Back on
go.
that episode, I think it was episode 5, might have been 6, but I'm pretty confident it's 5 because we had a 3 guests. We had a 3-peat, if you will. That's a sports term, I think. Ryan.
I mean, that's comedy club, right? It's a show. It's a comedy show. There's a group.
Oh, that's right,
Repeat.
three-peat. Yeah, they're Chicago-based.
Yeah.
But I believe...
I know some of them.
You do?
They're beautiful.
That's fabulous. I believe the word is threesome, though.
Okay, James.
All right.
What do you say?
Ryan.
Yes.
Did any of our fans put a picture of you using their IMDb Pro account on your IMDb account?
They haven't, and I've checked.
God damn it, fans. Hey, you want to know what? Yeah, I'm calling all of our... well, I don't know if C's
None of them are going to
to
have an IMDb Pro account.
They might. We could have an agent. Remember, we haven't done this bit in a long time. I'm Corwin's agent. Oh, remember
Where
that
are my
bit.
jobs, James? God
Hey,
damn it.
I've been working real hard trying to get you some voice acting work. I got you that mouse job.
No, you didn't.
I got you that school project.
What?
The Mortal Kombat lines you had to read. You're like, James, no, you just recorded those for me.
You just recorded that for
Hey,
me.
and that's what a producer does. I find you the recording space and we get it done. I found you an engineer as well.
I just realized I don't have my notes with me at all.
Spaghettios.
All right, go ahead and talk about those things. I'm going to go get it.
Okay, wait, what are we talking about?
Whatever you want.
Oh,
You can talk about
fuck
my agent,
yeah.
but that would mean I have to call my mom.
Is your mom your agent?
Oh, you bet it. Yeah.
for real?
No, God, no.
Hey, I'll represent you. I'm kidding. I can't take on another client.
No, you're far too booked. I can't compete with that.
I mean, I'm my own agent. Wait, did I do this wrong? I'm doing this wrong.
I misunderstood
I
the
misunderstood
assignment.
the assignment. Oh, God. Oh, crap.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Yeah, so the next one you should have us on is for Drop Dead Gorgeous.
It's queer adjacent.
Yeah.
You know.
We
Well-
do want to eventually do a Patreon thing called This Movie's Gay?
Sure.
To see if, subtle you know what the word I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, well, and to be fair, for Drop Dead Gorgeous, Peter is gay.
Oh, absolutely. Peter's gay.
You know what, Dad? Peter's gay.
Liza. Peter's gay.
I didn't shout. See?
You didn't see?
What do you...
I'm
Wait,
learning.
what do you want to do?
We're just talking about Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Oh, actually, I have had like 3 people tell me that we should do that movie. So...
You are not allowed to do that without me.
Or
I'm
me.
just going to put that in the,
That is
in the
our-
universe. It's in the writer.
It's in the writer. The writer includes Corwin has to be nice to Franklin and Ryan, and also they have to be on the Drop Dead Gorgeous episode if we venture into it.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of episodes or movies we should have done, how the fuck did we go 29 episodes without watching this movie? And how have I never heard of it? It's fucking great.
Okay, so I will first say that we went 29 episodes without watching it because Ryan was like, I've got to be there for that.
Okay.
But also,
Fair.
the second reason we've gone 29 episodes without watching it is because every time it's just me and you and I bring up like a movie we're doing, you're like, an hour and a half?
Oh, yeah,
I
that
guess.
makes sense.
And this one is 2 hours.
That totally
So
makes sense.
James is like real against doing long movies.
If it is 93 minutes, I'm like, ooh, man, that's
like,
a little
it's a
too
little
long.
Those 3 extra minutes.
Yeah,
too
exactly.
long.
That's in. I think we watched an hour and 27 the other day, and he was like, "Ooh, like how long do you How long do you think
I
the movie
want
is?
like the Pooh movie that was a cool 82 minutes long.
He wants the no intermission theater show. Just
90 minutes, no intermission.
I love a 90-minute no. Every single show should be a 90-minute no intermission.
Truly.
That's my future show coming up. Beth is gonna be 90 minutes, no intermission. Ha
Look at that.
Look at that's fantastic. Every show should be.
I like
but
throwing that in there.
I need a little pee-pee break, Corwin.
Well, yeah, go before the show.
I'll install a cath.
Listen,
Just wear a diaper, James.
Ooh,
like
I'm a
they've
little
got adult
diaper
diapers.
daddy.
Oh my.
Please don't tell me if you do that. I do not want to know if you're wearing an adult diaper
I'll
while I'm on
text
stage
you.
trying to act.
I'll text you. I'll keep my screen really dim so no one can see it.
Well, I mean, what kind of movie, though, would it require for James to wear an adult diaper? I don't know. Depends.
That's a good joke.
There we go. There you go. You're welcome.
I hate that I laughed at that. I hate it so much.
I'm glad you laughed at it so I didn't have to like cut silence.
That's why I laugh. It was an awkward laugh.
I bring my own crickets. So.
We'll see. Oh.
Oh, please get them out. Shoo, crickets, shoo.
Out.
they messed up the room
scurried.
tone. Goddamn crickets.
No, I have pre-recorded room tone that I insert in.
That's what he tells all the ladies.
That doesn't make sense. I don't know where. Ladies do not care about room tone. I've tried to explain it to Nicole, and she says, "James, do what you have to do, but why is this a conversation we're having?"
Things I've said in the bedroom. Do what you have to do, but why are we talking about it?
Oh.
And poppers.
Oh, God.
As we discussed the last episode, communication is key when it comes to lovemaking. You should be talking about everything.
It's not even a joke. That's just real.
No, that's just good sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Consensual.
I'll let you know when I figure that one out.
That's why phone sex is the greatest sex ever. Don't even get me going on cybering.
Do y'all remember the days when like you would cyber like in an AOL chat room? Like, is that?
I never did
yes.
chat rooms.
Yes, I do.
Just people I knew I would
sure.
cyber with.
Sure.
That's my claim to not claim to shame. I'm gonna
What's your claim to fame?
claim my fame.
Franklin?
Really is
Yeah.
that like everyone's afraid that it's an old guy impersonating like an 18-year-old in the chat room. No, I was just the 18-year-old in the chat room. It was
Impersonating an older guy.
yeah, exactly. I'm a dad. That's my dad voice.
Oh, God. You can't even like fake it.
What was your go-to ASL?
Oh my god. Well, it was either 18 male Schenectady, because no one wants to see a boy from Colorado. No, they're like, no, you're one of those. It's just like, no, I come from uptown. Except that Schenectady's not. I'm just bullshitting if we haven't gathered that yet. Yeah.
I mean, I just assume everything you say is just a little hint of it there.
It's always theatrical.
I mean, that's what acting is, right?
It's honesty. It's pure honesty. Take my class.
As long as we believe that it's real, then it's real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Acting for me is reading the words on the page. Just reading the words.
Words on the page.
For the love of God, someone throw a pie. You know.
This isn't Waitress. Calm down. Jeez.
We're talking about the Birdcage today. But mostly we'll be distracted by Franklin and Ryan talking about things.
It'll vacillate between the Birdcage and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Also, I just want to point out, please donate to James's AC fund. It's hot as fuck in here.
Yeah, and it's cold outside.
I don't understand.
I don't get it either.
Ryan and I are like fanning ourselves.
My shirt is halfway off.
Franklin's shirt will be off by the end
And
of
that's
the podcast.
not even because he's warm.
No, it's just-
I mean,
normal.
that's just normal.
I came in unbuttoned. It was very confusing.
Just a Saturday night for Franklin.
It's day ending in one.
Oh shit!
Ooh.
It's oh wait, no, it is actually Saturday.
It is
Shit.
Saturday.
I'm used
Being
to
for
us
real.
doing this on Mondays. Your schedule. Okay, I want to air a grievance. You scheduled this crazy event that we're doing where we need guests, on top of you also doing a bunch of rehearsing and work,
And
I'm like,
also
oh.
my job, my boss leaving my box office at my job, so I am getting more hours and
Corwin,
trying
you
to maneuver
can't-
all of that.
Okay. Also, guys, you'll hear fanning in this episode. I'm sorry, I don't know how to edit that out. I don't know what frequency a fan is on.
Listen, there's no fans. Okay, you're just hearing the gentle waft of a wing because we are discussing the bird cage.
Ooh.
You're welcome.
We're giving
That's a
you
tie-in.
room tone. We're giving you sound effects.
That's not
We're giving you
room
beautiful
tone.
things.
I'm just saying words that I've heard you guys say when we set up. I don't know if any of these things are real words.
Is it a tone? Is it in the room? I believe so. So
Room tone.
I'm
tone.
not going to listen to the producer right now. I'm just going to listen to what I said in my mind.
It's a cylinder. See, I'm
cylinder.
paying attention.
I said cylinder, though. I don't
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about. I just know
God damn it.
shapes. I guess I'm a math gay? What is this?
What?
Where have I come from?
Gays don't count.
I mean, Isaac Newton
Ooh,
did.
we didn't for a long time.
No, it's true.
Oh.
Pew, 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 pew.
Pride episode.
Yes.
I mean, that's true.
As-
Do you, when talking about Pride episode, do you want to get into some of your notes for the Birdcage?
Oh, God.
Specifically,
Sure.
like how significant it was? Because I know you did a lot of research on this, Franklin, which thank you.
I'm just
for doing
I'm just
that.
a big ass nerd for the La Cage aux Folles series.
To clarify, the Birdcage is based
Yes.
off of.
Yes, specifically
La Cage.
off the stage play La Cage aux Folles, a French play, and I can't remember the year. So, and who cares? You can Wikipedia that, haha. And then
it.
it was turned into an iconic film, and then it was turned into a musical, and then it was turned back into a movie, and it's fascinating how French it is. The other thing that surprised me with the whole trajectory of how like this story came about is that until the musical was written, it was all straight people doing this story. It's like one of the gayest straight people concoctions ever.
Yeah.
And it's I think in all versions of it, it's been a very honest story representing is a very hard word because gays don't have representation. Pride. No.
At least we're not in Boston. Ooh. Well.
But anyway, so
I
it's-
don't get that reference. Please.
So just a quick side note before you get into that. That reference is because someone applied to do a straight pride parade in Boston.
Oh, duh.
And they pretty much threatened to sue the city for discrimination because the city was like, no. So now they're allowed to do a straight pride parade. But to touch on why pride exists for the LGBTQ community is because it started off as basically a riot. It's us trying to get rights. So straight people have rights. So there's no need for that.
Yeah.
And there are people that don't understand that and they don't care to look into the history of why we have pride and things like that. So they're like, oh, well, why is it, Pride Month? And why is it Black History Month? And why not White History Month? And why not straight people pride? And like all this stuff. It is very disappointing is all I will say about that.
I would urge for anyone LGBTQ or
plus.
otherwise to also, like, if you're going to go to Pride, and you should like look up why
Yeah.
we do Pride. Like read up on Stonewall. Look back at some of these laws and rights that we did not have as people now. So like check it out. Like actually do the research. And there's something that I've sort of come across with the younger generation that hasn't had to go through as much discrimination as, folks in our age group or particularly older folks than us. I think it's important to like read up on it and do a quick Google search, y'all. Stonewall.
I mean, specifically like people that were going through the Reagan era and just everything. It's a lot of recent history and it's very easy to look up.
Yeah.
So that's just a quick serious side note for you. Please, for this month, do us that favor and look up that history because it's a heartbreaking thing to look at, but it's very real and it's why we have pride. And it's why we still need it. I mean, there's still things happening to this day. I just saw a story the other day about a lesbian couple that were attacked on a bus because they refused to kiss in front of people.
as like a spectate.
as like a
as a-
spectator,
as
as like a
were-
fetishization thing.
Yeah.
So there are still attacks, there are still things like that, every day. So that's why it's important. Now back to the
Birdcage.
No,
The
and
Birdcage.
it's the Birdcage is not a too far cry from like this conversation of representation, and the journey we got there is that the Birdcage and the La Cage aux Folles series, in all its many versions, was essentially what we would call now just making it palatable to middle class audiences, a gay love story. You know what I mean? And it started as a very French tale, and jokes aside about the French, and their liberalness. But there is something to be said about that it started overseas, this kind of acceptance story that was just meant to be told as this is a love story that happens to have two gay men, and what is the normalization of two gay men who happen to have a son. And it's the details aren't in how the son is the son of the two gay men, and it does make for a fascinating part of the story, but it's about this day in their lives as two gay men that happen to go berserk. You know what I mean? And so and it goes back and forth because, it was straight people telling this story until Harvey Fierstein got a hold of it and the musical was created. So for a good 15 years of its life, it was like straight people telling this very queer story. And then we get to the Birdcage. And what's fascinating about the Birdcage is that until Nathan Lane came out, again, it was all straight people telling the story except for director Mike Nichols. You know what I mean? So it's like, where does allyship fall in terms of one of what is considered one of the top 5 queer American movies in our history?
Well, so, you're looking at the Birdcage and you've got the stars are Robin Williams, who, we're assuming was straight lying. I'm guessing. Presenting. Thank you. I don't know that he identified in any queer respect, though I wouldn't be surprised. Nathan Lane, who in 96 was not necessarily publicly out. That didn't happen until the early
I believe, yeah. That's what we had determined, yeah.
You had Hank Azaria.
And Hank Azaria is also just a fascinating conversation.
That's a whole conversation.
It's a whole different episode.
And you've got American Treasure Christine Baranski.
Which is a whole nother section of this episode.
She's an American treasure.
Yes.
She's an American treasure. But a very straight presenting ensemble of people performing in this and telling the story. And do I think that these same folk should get together and reboot the Birdcage as they are? No. I think that if we hold this film to the standards that we hold now, it would fail.
Absolutely.
In many respects. But I think that because for the time, considering what it was, I think it's an incredible film. I think it showed something different than a heteronormative life and family, which I think was just really cool.
The first 15 minutes, I think, is a cinematic, a filmmaking, a director of photography, and screenwriting, just masterclass.
It's so good. I thought, is this going to be the entire movie? Because this is fucking great.
Yeah. One of my favorite nerd things that I talked to everyone about was that the opening shot with We Are Family playing in the background as they do the credits is actually, it's a composite shot of 3 different camera takes, but it's supposed to look like one, and then the beautiful storytelling that's set up about this faux cheating sequence, spoiler alert for an almost 30-year-old movie, but is that the movie does so well does this really fantastic job rather of normalizing Armand and, oh my God, I'm blanking his name. Albert, duh. Armand and Albert's relationship, so that when we cut immediately to Senator Keeley and family, that the normal ones are the strange ones, or the queer ones, and then the queer ones are the very hetero family. And it's truly a masterclass, and I attribute that to Nichols and May. The iconic comedy couple reuniting for this film in the 90s. Is that it's just all around. It's all about the audience contract, and you know exactly what you're signing up for with the Birdcage in 15 minutes. And you're hooked.
I know that I've seen this movie a few times and it still has me laughing through most of it. I mean, there are definitely a couple of moments that are a little outdated, and we should acknowledge that as queer people who have seen terrible things. We should acknowledge whenever cultures are appropriated and things like that inappropriately. And there are moments like that in this film. So that's something to be aware of when you're watching it. It is dated in that sense. But as far as what Franklin was saying and it being cinematographically beautiful from its time, absolutely. there were so many beautiful shots. Specifically, I'm thinking of like Catherine, Val's mom, whenever she opens the champagne, she's like, I'm not very paternal, and like pops the champagne cork from her
Between me down there's.
yeah, between the down, I was gonna say between her thighs or whatever. So it's a very phallic image. So it's just there are like things like that, and then like the transition from Albert going into the clothes rack and then like coming out as soon as Robin Williams gets stuck in there. It just beautiful.
Traditionally, I have problems with movies that don't know what they are tonally, because you can smell it from like a mile away. Is this a comedy? Is this supposed to be a commentary? Is it this? But it starts as vaudeville. You know what I mean? It's good old fashioned vaudeville with the jokes. The entire Armand versus Albert opening sequence of just the and I made you short. You know, that whole sequence is just the repartee is just back and forth, which is hilarious. And then it instantly turns into, you know, a traditional 90s dramedy. You know, anytime Val comes into a room, it's just like it's almost like you're watching multiple episodes of a sitcom playing back to back to back to back, and it just works in its continuity.
And Val makes you so upset through the whole movie. I mean, he does sort of, I think at the end he does have a little bit of a redemption, way more significant than I would think a movie of the time would have. And that he does, whenever Gene Hackman's character is like, who's your mother? Val does go up to Albert and pulls off Albert's wig and says, this is my mother.
Yeah.
Albert is my mother.
And again, it's hard. We retroactively look at these movies as young gay men and young queer men in almost 2020, and this movie was 96. You know, and I'm definitely very perceptive of what the times were when the movie was released, but it's not logical to retroactively apply current lenses to films even 10 years ago. You know what I mean? And so you look at this and it's like, well, no, you know, Val would need to do something more heroic. Yeah, Val now would need to do something more heroic.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? But I think what's great about the Birdcage is that they create some real villains in this movie. You know what I mean? And not necessarily in a campy sense. You know what I mean? Val punches you in the stomach as a character. A, it makes you instantly sympathize with his parents. And then B, it's just like, well, no, there were real straight people who were quote unquote supportive. But then the moment the tables turned on them, they could instantly abandon them, even if it was his own father. And it's like, well, yeah, that's why that movie works, is that there's actually like a real dark underbelly to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Also, I think I'd like to note that it may be a case of statutory rape. I'm just going to say that real quick. Because, hold on, hear me out. Val is 20 years old.
Yeah.
Right? That is established fairly early on that Val is 20. Content warning, sorry. I'm trying to get better at that sort of thing. But Calista Flockhart's character, Barbie, we learn when she's telling her parents that they want to get married, he goes, you're not even 18 yet. And they've been sleeping together for the last year.
Didn't he say...
Also, how old is she in college?
I think, didn't he say she was 18?
Yeah, I got
18.
both lines. That in the beginning
she was not 18,
said,
and then later on they said, "Oh, you're 18."
Yeah,
yeah.
But I mean that.
But look at that beauty of that juxtaposition right there. You know what
legal?
I mean? I don't necessarily have my law of consent in front of me. But that aside, whether it's legally implicated of, you know, what the hell is Val doing? But also look at the reality of this. We've got an 18 and 20-year-old who are so sure that they deserve to be married. And then you have the Keeleys who are clearly in a loveless marriage, despite Mrs. Keeley's undying support. But then you look at two men who have established themselves as successful businessmen, you know, regardless of their craft. Two people who've been together for countless years, enough where Val recognizes Albert as his mother or his aunt, you know, whatever the term is in the moment and whatnot. And they rely on the palimony agreement, you know, which is a funny bit.
Which one is one of my favorite scenes?
It's great, is that, you know, they have a mutual understanding of their relationship, but out of all the couples who deserve something that legally binds them, they are the least likely to get it in this entire film. And so you're watching Val, who is the least deserving of any kind of marriage out of this entire group of characters, fight for his marriage while practically destroying another, which is so fascinating to watch.
I mean, and you see Albert and Armand, if this was true to the time or whatever, they wouldn't be able to get married for almost 20 years after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think almost exactly 20, right? Wait, can I math?
was
I
it
can't
2016? It was when I moved here. So it was 2015.
15.
Yeah.
So damn,
So
that
19 years.
Still is insane to me that it was just then.
Yeah.
It's fucking baffling.
I have been in Chicago longer than it has been people have been legally able to get married nationwide.
I could.
So-
It's just something that's like, oh yeah, that happened in like when I was in high school, but no.
Nope.
There were a bunch of cucks saying, oh, gay marriage shouldn't be legal in my high school. Fuck those kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck 'em.
no. Yeah.
Fuck them all.
Like that. Have I talked about that? That day of silence where, in recognition of LGBTQ communities, one kid just started like ranting about how it's against God to do. I think I have talked about it, then said some insensitive things about that person's family.
Listen.
Well,
I don't know.
right.
Hey, you want to know?
I
I'm
got
cool
a
with
lot of insensitive things to say about people.
Remember I said, oh yeah, but his brother was found by the river dead.
Oh.
Wait, really?
Yeah, we don't need to go into that.
No.
It's something that it was a long bleep in one episode. But you want to know what? We're a better podcast now.
better.
Yes,
podcast.
exactly. We are in honor of Pride Month. We're always learning. You know what I mean? And even watching the Birdcage, you still learn something every single time. Is that, again, like we said, the Birdcage with that cast now, only Christine Baranski would I want.
Oh my God. What do you
Christine
mean?
Baranski and Diane Wiest reprising their roles,
Yeah.
but it's just
I
like
mean, Nathan Lane can join in
Nathan
too.
Lane can now do it. But who would be the new Armand and Albert of 2019, and what story would we tell with the Birdcage now?
Well, so here's the thing that when I was watching it, and very early on in the film when they're having their first fight, and it's played off as a joke. Albert says, you know everything because you're a man. I know nothing because I'm a woman. And Armand goes, you're not a woman. Which I was like, is Albert non-binary?
Oh,
Which
sure.
would be
Is that-
another beautiful
Is that what
aspect
this?
of
Is
that
that what
story
the
to
story
tell.
would be?
It's reminiscent
now.
of Patrick Swayze and Tu Wong Fu.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is that high level of feminine presentation? And I'll excuse myself now if I misgender or say anything that is not correct terms, because it's still an area that I'm educating myself on. And I'm just like, why not full disclaimer on that? And so is that it's just like, that level of commitment on a regular basis is usually implicative of, I'm probably just made up word, indicative rather, of a lifestyle choice that you can't do all the time. You know what I mean? Is that it's just like, that was the next step. And Tu Wong Fu is a whole other conversation, and totally a movie that if you guys haven't watched it, watch. But
We'll be watching that in the future.
there
yeah.
you go. It's just fabulous too. But anyway, it's just like, what's fascinating to watch in Nathan Lane's performance and just the character of Albert and Starina is that first fight is just like a regular day, is that like, that's just how he gets on stage as Starina. Like, I could totally tell that that's just the warm up. You know what I mean? Is that I've studied this scene multiple times. Is that it's just clearly like, this is the way Starina prepares. But then when you watch every other argument in it, it's, for example, something I noticed today, whether it was a direct choice or indirect choice, is that after Albert realizes the apartment's been quote unquote robbed, and it's them letting him know that he has to leave, and he's upset, he stays at this neutral level as he goes down the stairs and is walking through the regular way. And the moment he turns the corner and there's people at the diner, he starts to amp up the theatricalness of it.
As soon as there's an audience.
It's almost innate. The moment he senses an audience, it goes, well, I am feeling these things, but now I have to perform because people know that I'm Starina. You know what I mean? Is that I was like, what a the nuance that is carried throughout the performances is just fascinating. That is one of my favorite ones where I just go, no, he knows when to be grounded. You know what I mean? And it's all these little setups that make the whole second act of the movie work.
And I think another aspect of that you have to remember as well is Starina, whenever Nathan Lane's character is preparing and everything, we find out later that Nathan Lane knows that there's white wine in the fridge and that Armand must be seeing someone else because they don't drink white wine. So Albert's seeing a lot of like things that promote insecurity and is channeling them into that performance and pulling up that there was like a bugger. What the fuck? There was like, just channeling that and just putting on this sort of, what we would say today was like a stereotypical like diva performance. but you're right, for an audience. So I definitely agree that they probably have very similar conversations every day, but we know that it was amped up even more from Starina's side because of the wine and all of that, and Armand not telling Nathan Lane's character that Val was coming.
The other line that I love in the kitchen after Val has shown up is, fine, you aren't cheating on me, but you don't want to share your son with me. You know what I mean? Is that there's always something that Albert is always preparing for a storm. You know what I mean? And that's his protection, no matter what.
And he furthers that whenever he's bringing up the patrimony.
Oh, the palimony agreement?
Patrimony.
Holy patrimony.
Patricidamony? That's a whole different...
I'm just combining words here.
I've made up like 19 words.
It's fine. This is Shakespeare made up words. It's fine.
Sure.
Am I comparing myself to Shakespeare? No, I'm not.
Yeah, he is. And I'm fine with it.
Yeah, the palimony agreement. Albert keeps bringing that up, and it's like, why have Armand and Albert not had this conversation before this moment? I love their relationship, and I love seeing that.
It's really sweet. So when they finally do have the palimony agreement conversation, it comes out, and Armand like fesses up and tells Albert that everything has been under Albert's name the entire time. You assume that everything is under Armand's name.
Yeah.
And so that was just a really like sweet and lovely moment where you realize that like everything has always been Albert's from jump. So the signing of the palimony agreement is Armand asking for a part of that life, which is just really, really sweet. And I didn't catch that until a few years ago. Like it didn't register to me the weight of that scene. Mm-hmm. And it's really nice.
How I took that is Armand's got bad credit.
He probably well.
That's not untrue.
No, yeah.
That's the most gay thing in that movie is what's credit. I haven't had credit since the Carter administration. Very proud that it only took me 30 minutes to break out that joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That and the vast array of phallic things in their apartment, which
many.
We in this room have 3 queer identifying folk in the room.
Correct.
I don't know about y'all, but I certainly don't have a vast array of just dicks as decoration in my house.
You should say maybe the straight person does.
Maybe the straight person does. And there's the dick.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
I am
It's a
staring.
cute little penis.
But that's one tiny one. That's not 17 statues of just like gnomes with massive dicks.
I mean, if I could
Neptune with a
afford
massive dick.
If I could afford a statue of Neptune in the classical Greek style with full penis on display, I would put that
which
somewhere.
Sort of brings me to like there's and so that scene where they're taking all the things out, or they're just like walking around the apartment talking about the things. It reminds me of a very specific type of gentleman that would have. You know what I mean? Like there's a very specific like age group. Like those were like, some of my gay uncles growing up definitely had.
It's a gay uncle thing.
It's an absolute gay uncle thing.
My gay uncles are very Albert and Armand in that respect. That there's like the more focused one, and then there's the more artistic one. You know what I mean? Is that like that's how that pairing is? And I just remember I was house sitting for them one time, and when I was in college, and they were finally like, "Oh, we're at that point where we can talk like we're men, except we're gay men." You know what I mean? Is that we can hang like buddies and whatnot. And it cracked me up is that like the first thing he was just like, "Look at this big book of artistic penises." And I was like, well, I'm not going to read this 3 days in house sitting. It's like, wow, that is a good looking dick. Yeah. That is a good shot. And many of my own photos are modeled after that book.
I thought you were going to say many of your own photos are in that book.
No.
We've seen your gram.
Sadly, my Finstagram I removed. Not, that's a whole different conversation, is that the like expression of your body in 2019 is that like, I'm very proud of my current state of my body. I'm going on a tangent, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on tight.
Do it.
No, but I was just like, I had a Finstagram and my tuchus was out and about because I posted it on my regular one, and I had many a person talk to me about it, and they weren't like mad. They were just like in I almost said they were in awe. Everyone was in awe of my ass.
They were in awe of his tush.
Of my tush, of my buttocks. But it just, I was like, I felt like it was like I needed a separate category. And it was just interesting that like I had it for like a brief amount of time. I was like, everyone's seen my ass. It's old and hat now. You know what I mean? And so anyway, if you want to see my ass, more information can be found on the internet.
You mean tell me you think there are men this country that ain't seen your bosom?
There we go. And the Golden Girls have made it into this episode.
Well, that was a League of Their Own reference.
Oh,
but
my part.
Yeah.
Have you?
In the similar vein of things.
I mean, it's all gay, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all good. It's all great.
Can we talk about the music?
I don't know music, so y'all can talk about it.
I feel like Ryan and I have completely commandeered this. So
definitely.
Do you have anything to say?
Do I have anything to say on my podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
We're gonna be editing it out. We're just gonna edit out.
It's just you two.
No, it would be so much harder to do that, guys.
We're just gonna re-record and be like, they're just gonna have our names in the front of it and then just cut us out for the rest of it. That's the smartest thing to do, truly.
I know just from watching it that a lot of it were musical references, and even though I am in theater, I still I'm not as well versed in musicals as y'all are, despite how well I do on the Tony quizzes and things.
The Tony ballots and whatnot.
Tony ballot. I do real well on those.
Can we just for a minute just congratulate all of the Tony winners? Congratulations. We don't know who
we don't know who they are yet.
We don't know who they are, but by the time this airs, they will.
We will exactly.
Yeah.
This is actually our fastest turnaround, I think, for a podcast as well. Usually we record sort of a week in advance, but now we're recording 2 days. So also props to James for getting this out on time.
Just going to say congratulations, American Treasure Christine Baranski, on all of the Tonys that you've won.
Yes.
She's not nominated for any of them, but she will win every single one of them.
Stephanie J. Block is definitely going to win a Tony. I'm calling it.
Or Beth Level.
No, I know you want Beth Level.
I do want Beth Level.
But, there you go. There's a perfect example, too. The Prom. You know what I mean? Ryan was fortunate enough to see some very queer theater this past year. Very queer theater. The spin-off podcast, Very Queer Theater, is he saw Head Over Heels, which is probably the queerest thing that was on Broadway last year.
Oh my God, it was incredible. Y'all, okay, real quick. Sorry, I know we're tangenting. But Head Over Heels starred Peppermint from RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yes.
But the really cool thing about that is that Peppermint was the first openly trans person to originate a role on Broadway.
That's
in 2018.
Incredible.
Yeah,
and that is,
it's terrible that it's taken that long, but it's about damn time.
Yeah.
About damn time.
About damn time.
Can I do a plug? Because
sure.
I'm here.
You were setting this entire thing up to do the
I
plug.
was not setting this up to do a plug for my own show, but now that we're here. So if you want to see this magnificent script on display, I will be in the Chicago regional premiere of Head Over Heels beginning July 1st with Co-Candy Productions in a role that I would have never guessed I'd play in this next year. I'm playing a straight man.
Father of two.
The father of two, exactly. So if you want to see what in the world we're talking about, and it's the music of the Go-Go's, which is fabulous in and of itself. So July 1st, tickets are now available at cocandyproductions.com, and you get to see me with a beard, which is magical. But so Head Over Heels, and then we were talking about the prom.
Hey, Frankie, real quick, can you take your headphones off real quick? Hey, Ryan, do you think you could get me comps from Frankie for that? That's a joke I did on the last podcast too.
Listen, I'm not paying for tickets. Frankie has to give me comps as part of our contractual friendship. I have to take his comps.
Here's what we'll do.
That's a rule.
You'll get a suitcase, a big one.
Sure. A duffel? A rolling duffel?
Yes. I'll squeeze in real tight. You wheel me in with your comp, and I'll just kind of sit not in your lap, but on the floor in between your legs, and I'll peek my little head up.
And we'll get you one of those service animal vests.
Oh, yes.
Done. There's got to be an accessibility line.
I'll shave out my cat, Frank, even though he's not, I don't own him. I'll shave him, drizzle that hair on me, and it'll look like I'm a dog.
I mean, obviously.
Wear a fursuit or something? I don't know.
This is the only logical solution to this problem.
I'm not a furry. No, hey, I'm kidding. I'm furry as hell, guys. What if you found out I was a furry?
I would just disappear into the ether.
I thought you were going to say, yeah, it would make sense.
And let me just say, from my purview, and now that my headphones are back on and I didn't hear anything about complimentary tickets to production, Ryan and I have a palimony agreement. It's unwritten. Just FYI.
Everything's in Franklin's name.
Everything is in Franklin's name, as if either of us have credit.
Jesus Christ.
B, I thought it was so hot. I thought Ryan was in his underwear. I looked over too quickly.
It's not August yet. It is not the Fly Honey Show. While we're doing shameless plugs,
I mean, we do plugs.
I'm
at
gonna
the
wait
end,
until.
too.
Well, I'm gonna plug that at the end.
We'll plug it at the end. Anyway, is that I'm just like, this is actually a fairly scruffy room of individuals.
Yeah.
I was just like, yes, embracing our body hair.
Yes,
but
very well
we've
haired
been trying to
individuals.
talk about the prom for about 10 minutes now.
Wait, should we go back to the Sondheim deep cuts of the Birdcage?
Yes, we'll
'Cause
go
that's
back to
what I
the
wanna talk
actual
about.
Birdcage. Just look up the prom online. It should win more Tonys than it's going to get, and we'll have that conversation over some schmecken.
When the Schnecken beckons.
There you go.
When the schnecken-
When the
I don't know
schmecken
why I
beckons.
was trying to
share, but she did.
Cher has arrived, bitches. Okay, so Sondheim. What is Sondheim's relationship to the Birdcage, Ryan?
So we counted.
Yes, Ryan, please tell
There
us
are not
about-
one, not two, but 3 Sondheim deep cuts.
3.
3.
1, 2, 3.
Can you name them, Ryan?
I can't name them by name, but
Jesus.
I can sing every fucking.
I
one
mean,
of them.
didn't you write them down?
No, I just
no, we
wrote,
sort 1, 2,
I wrote
3.
1, 2, 3.
I believe it's emerging parentheses from the Birdcage. Then the second one we hear is, oh boy, parentheses, that Birdcage. And,
Yeah.
and number 3 is parenthetical, that Birdcage out of parentheses is hot as hell.
I mean, so you.
That's not untrue.
That's not untrue. The first one is Starina's entrance, right?
Well, okay, so the entrance
Parenthetical from the Birdcage.
From the
from the
Birdcage.
Birdcage. From the Birdcage. Well, there's 2 songs that play in Serena's entrance. It's The Man That Got Away, which is not the Sondheim song.
No.
But the next one is a cut song from Follies. Mm-hmm. Oh, if I get that wrong, there's going to be many a gay man mad at me. Many a queer person mad
I
at me.
don't even
But
know what Follies
song,
is,
But the song is
so-
Can That Boy Foxtrot.
Man, I love that show.
Which,
Parenthetical in the Birdcage.
in the Birdcage. Can That Boy Foxtrot in the Birdcage.
And a man escaping parentheses from the Birdcage.
Exactly. We're going to skip to the third one.
Yes.
Why
Ryan does-
not the second one?
Well, because that one's got more story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that will tangent into a
All
new
right.
topic. The third one is with Robin Williams and American Treasure Christine Baranski.
American Treasure,
Because
Christine
she's an
Baranski.
American treasure.
Who is this in the movie?
Val's mother.
Val's
Catherine.
Okay,
mother.
that's what I
When
thought.
they're
When they're at the gym.
Yeah, the office.
The office of the
The
gym.
office of the
Of the current
fitness empire.
of the straighter but somehow gayer version of Barry's boot camp in the 90s.
Sure. I was gonna say, was that lesbian work? Jackie. Remember Jackie's?
Honey, I don't know. I wasn't alive
I
in
don't
the
remember
90s.
anything from the 90s. What are you talking about, Ryan?
It wasn't the 90s. It was like
I don't remember anything from
something.
2000s.
Never mind. Unimportant tangent.
What is the song, Ryan?
Da, 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 da. Na, 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 na,
Na, na,
na,
love is
na.
in the air. Da, 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 da. It's Love is in the Air, and it's a cut song from... Oh, we're getting a divorce.
Yeah, you're better at this than I am.
It is the original opening number from A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum.
That's right. We
I
literally.
really,
Okay, Frankie and I.
cast in that show.
Really?
Actually,
Yeah.
hilarious.
It was originally
back in
cut
Memphis.
because it was too light. It was too
Yeah.
fluffy, and it didn't set audiences up for the show. So they wrote the iconic number "Comedy Tonight" because "Love Is in the Air" didn't work. But now "Love in the Air" is immortalized by the Birdcage. So the
We have this
second
conversation literally every
week.
Every week.
Every week.
I always forget
I
him.
hear it.
he does.
Yeah.
He does in the same office.
And I just look at you blankly and go, "Hello, Ryan.
Because Corwin. Hello, Corwin.
Hello, Ryan.
Although I will say,
Please
Corwin.
call 1-800. I don't know music."
Corwin, I will say you are sounding far less robotic.
It's the voiceover
I
classes.
think it's
not
it's-
actually that. It's just me caring, I guess.
Sure.
Sure.
I have experienced emotion in the past 2 years.
Well,
And I sound
get
less
his-
like a robot.
We'll get his name later.
Yeah.
But Ooh, saucy. But the second song,
The second song, which would be the last one that we talk about, leads into the most iconic moment in the film.
yes.
I'm gonna say.
Oh, and I'm blanking on the title, so I can't make of it. But I can't make fun of Ryan anymore. But it was the original song that Sondheim wrote for the movie. and if I'm wrong, then I'm just going to assume it's a Trunk song. But let's just say both are true.
Sure.
But it's what is this dream I see? You know, and then it leads to
the most incredible dance montage moment in cinematic history, where Robin Williams comes on stage.
Starts with the monologue of Gloria.
The gum. Well, there's the gum.
Well, there's the whole gum
moment.
sequence. You know, just because you're 22 and hung doesn't mean Albert, let me handle this. You know, is that it's a number of mythic proportions and the creator and all
In
this
your heart and slash pelvis.
Heart slash pelvis, and then the darling twunk just goes, I don't think I got it.
And Albert from behind goes, try more gum.
It's just the repartee again. But then we get
He's popping his gum while I'm singing. He can't do that while I'm singing.
There you go. So anyway, the twunk doesn't get it, and he's just like, am I just supposed to stand there? And which leads Robin Williams to go,
so no, you do an eclectic celebration of a dance. You do Fosse, 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 or Michael Kidd, Michael Kidd, Michael Kidd, Michael Kidd, Twyla, 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 Madonna, Madonna, Madonna. But you keep it all inside. I said those out of order, and I am mad at myself.
It's okay. You also forgot Martha Graham.
I know, that's
You
what happened. I
did.
fucked it
You'll
up.
forgive Martha
Can I
Graham.
try that
I
again?
even knew you fucked
I'm gonna
it up.
try it again.
And
I'm
I
gonna try
don't
it
know
again.
nothing
I'm gonna try
about
it
no
again. I'm gonna
music
try it again.
and dancing.
You do Fosse, 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 Martha Graham, Martha Graham, Martha Graham, Martha Graham, or Twyla, 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 Michael Kidd, Michael Kidd, Michael Kidd, Michael Kidd, and Madonna, 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 but you keep it all inside. And like what Robin Williams does with his movement to like emulate those styles is like oddly accurate.
Yeah, it's great.
If you've ever like studied any of their work, it's like, no, that's actually pretty close. I would say.
I mean, Madonna, yeah.
I was gonna say the only one that is probably like wrong would be Madonna, because that's voguing, which she stole from. She heavily borrowed from the ballroom scene.
Correct.
But whereas all the rest of them were established choreographers and have their own very specific style of movement.
And we can also mention that a lot of great things are stolen from the ballroom scene.
Oh, absolutely.
Y'all, Pose is coming out, season 2.
Season 2 of Pose.
I can't wait.
In preparation for this episode, but not really in preparation. I just read a lot of like gay history and things like that. And one of the things I read recently was that the ballroom scene and things like that and the term coming out comes from these parties that queer people would have for someone coming out into the scene. They were saying they were gay, but they were coming out to be shown off to the rest of the queer community. So that's where that term comes from, not necessarily coming out of the closet and being like repressed. It's coming out to, it's like your naming day, like
Your christening.
your christening.
My christening. My Christine
Yeah.
Baranski-ing.
Speaking of Christine Baranski, one
American
of my favorite
Treasure.
moments about American Treasure Christine Baranski in this film specifically is towards the end of the film. It's after all the shit has hit the fan. Right? Everything that could possibly go wrong has gone wrong. Previously at this dinner, the senator and his wife see these ceramic bowls that have what they can't quite make out what they are, but it comes to it's
Greek men.
Greek men fucking.
Which also, short side note, gay history, the Greeks were very, very gay. There's also a mention of Alexander the Great, who was also a queer individual who a lot of people say was probably gay. He did have a son, but the end of Alexander's life was whenever his partner died. It was a big thing. He spent all the money in his empire building a monument for him and everything else. So Alexander the Great, very gay.
You know what they say about a man with a big monument?
He conquers half the known world.
Yeah, exactly.
Over half, most of the known world.
That he was dead. So back to the
Dinner
to the bowls.
scene.
So then,
Wait, can I quickly say something?
Sure, it's your podcast.
A great improv team name. A great name for an improv team would be Greek Men Fucking.
Isn't that the name of most improv teams? Yes, and I don't know.
I mean, I thought that was the name of our future improv team.
Greek men fucking. Thank you, everybody who have been Greek men fucking.
Yeah.
Or I also believe any improv team could be the name of a punk band and vice versa.
Sure.
Like Upright Citizens Brigade would be a great punk name.
Y'all look out for our punk single. It's going to be from our new band that includes Franklin, Ryan, and I. It's from the band Greek Men Fuckin'.
Hey, don't tease this. I would really like to do this.
I mean, you're the producer, so get it done, James.
It's our
Come
punk rock improv group.
Yeah. But yes, that's all I wanted to say.
Yes, and that's what we would just scream. Fuck yes, and
on. That's the name of our first song.
yeah.
Fuck yes and.
Fuck yes, and
Fuck yes and. Fuck, comma, yes, comma, and.
Followed by
Semicolon.
our next hit, Poppers.
Next hit, poppers. Next hit of poppers.
Yeah, next hit.
Next hit of poppers.
I'm glad you got the joke.
Yes. I'm sniffing because of allergies, not because we have bottles of poppers.
Just
Aerating
strewn
the
about.
Even though Ryan promised me that we would gift James some poppers.
Corwin,
am
I think that idea is dumb. The next single should be titled No But. That's also an improv term of someone saying, no, that's not what we're doing, but this is what we're doing.
That must be that new improv. I haven't heard that rule yet.
It's like that new math those kids are doing. No butt.
No butt.
No butt.
That's what the gays are for. Just the butt. I don't.
What in the butt?
What
in the butt?
Yeah,
What, comma,
that's
what?
good.
Okay, sorry for interrupting you so much.
I just want to talk about Christine Baranski's epic moment that is just very small and also wonderful.
For those who are uncultured and everything, as you would say I am in some situations, Christine Baranski is Val's biological mother.
What a build-up for like not where I thought that sentence was going.
Yeah. I thought
For
you were
those
gonna,
of you, I thought you were about to like read her IMDb off, her humanitarian efforts.
Corwin, I apologize. I can't.
timeless style.
Normally, I would edit some of those uhs out, but
I
they
need
called
them
you
all
out
there.
on it.
No,
Yeah.
I need them all there.
No, that was
intentional setup.
that was great. Is that like it's like saying that like Ryan Tang is known for eating Chex Mix. Frankie Leo Bennett is known for his abnormal foot size.
You know I wouldn't say that. I'd say Franklin Leo Bennett.
Exactly, Franklin Leo Bennett. I'm sorry. So Agador Spartacus, played by Hank Azaria. Another conversation we'll set up for later.
Yeah, we'll go to that.
We're serving dinner with Greek men fucking.
And they're putting this soup, this
Stew.
this stew,
Peasant stew.
peasant
Seafood
soup,
chowder. It's
seafood
not
chowder,
seafood.
peasant soup. They don't know what the fuck
Peasant
it's called.
stew.
Peasant stew.
They put it in the bowls, and everybody takes a bite of it and just instantly like puts it down and goes and grabs bread instead. So it's very clearly a disgusting thing that nobody is eating. So later on in the film, or at the very end, when all the shit has hit the fan, everyone's just all kind of like sitting around in the bedroom trying to figure out what the fuck to do. There's, Robin Williams and Nathan Lane are there. The Healy's are there. I'm going back and forth between their real names and the character names. The distraught couple is there.
The Goldmans and the Healys are there.
Thank you. Or the Colemans.
It's Keeley.
It's Keeley. What am I saying? Keeley?
I
Healy.
said Healy.
We're not
You
rolling
said
around.
Keely.
I thought some of
It's-
you guys were saying Neely.
Exactly.
The Neelys are there.
never know
Ted
what our name
Neely
is.
played Jesus in this film.
Sure.
Jesus.
That's a deep cut for musical theater gays out there.
I don't know nothing about that musical theater.
We'll watch Jesus Christ Superstar because it's pretty gay.
I saw the John Legends.
That's pretty gay.
That's pretty gay. Sarah Bareilles was
Jesus.
in it.
I
Let's love her.
know.
What
It
a
was
treat.
right. It wasn't it right when she
Lewis.
was doing Waitress?
Christine Baranski.
Christine Baranski. Anyway, God damn it, I hate all of you. As they're painting around, they show everyone's just super distraught and like drinking and like having their feelings, and then there's Christine Baranski just like eating the soup.
in the background.
And I've
picking up the
never seen
egg.
that before. And Ryan pointed out today, and I cried because the joke of it too was that when he's ladling it out, in the first shot we see of it, there's no egg. And then when Diane Wiest gets it, she goes, but there's egg in it, because it's seafood chowder at that point, because no one knows what it is. And so then we see everyone has a brown egg except for Gene Hackman. Then there's the wide shot of all of them at the table, and then they all turn into white eggs. And then the next shot, everyone suddenly has eggs again. But the best part is that Christine Baranski is ladling the egg out of the bowl and like stare. She is making a meal out of the world's grossest soup. And I cried.
And making a meal out of that scene for herself.
It just has nothing left to
She was
do.
upstaging everyone.
Exactly.
She's a treasure.
That being said, the best line that I finally heard tonight was Nathan Lane going, "Oh, it's like Miami today. Oh, they're just print news." Starina predicting the future of, oh, well, it's not BuzzFeed.
There were some great timeless jokes, and I don't know if I actually wrote any of them down, though I should have.
I put down Albert's practically abreast.
Albert's practically abreast. Well, you just be as gay, Uncle Al, you know.
Oh my God, the toast. I pierced the toast.
You pierce the toast. Let me give you an image.
It's a cliche, but it's an image.
John Wayne.
Agador, grab
Too
my
swishy.
toothbrush. It's in the usual place.
Yeah, that one's great. I do know now how to get cast by Ryan in anything. Here, if you guys meet Ryan and want to be acting with him, just say this. The road's black. Cutting through the green. The trees.
You're saying it too dramatic. The roads, black, green trees, purple mountains.
Virginia.
Talk about Purple Mountain's majesty.
Pennsylvania. I mean, it is.
And then there's so much silence. And then
I also feel like
there's Virginia.
there was just like Robin Williams' face, and that was my face that I've made when so many people have talked to me.
Call them out. Name them.
So many straight people have talked to me.
It's just, oh my gosh. And I also wrote down too, is that because it functions as a stage play and its timing and whatnot, there's like a clear act break, you know, where the conflict is set up, where I feel it's where Robin Williams walks in on Christine Baranski and Robin Williams, and it looks like they're about to have an intimate moment. And it's, you know, and then like we've set up the act 2, you know, setup. And anyway, but I just talk about was like that whole monologue is clearly intended for us, if you're a theater nerd, to realize like, how does Albert know to get into drag as Mrs. Coleman? That was my big question today. I was like, out of everything else in this movie, the logic is consistent throughout the movie, except for like one station scene, which we could talk about later. It doesn't really matter. But I was like, how does Albert know to get into drag and play the mother? Like, is there another answering machine in the house? Is she like, which is very true, have a glass up to the door and hear the conversation and pieces it together? And I just feel like that monologue in theater time is enough time for a character to get dressed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that Albert just gets in drag to help Val. I think Albert at that point is just like,
no, I get why.
Yeah.
Well, I think that Albert just decides to do it like right when Albert locks himself in that room.
You think Albert's been in drag for like an hour?
I think he's taking an hour to put on drag.
Well,
It's Starina.
He didn't think enough to glue that wig down though.
No.
Because Val
Any
took all
queen
this...
worth their salt would have had that wig glued down, and that lace front would not have slipped like it did.
I mean, it's a great
Val
bit.
took
It's a good
off-
bit.
Val took out all the stuff. Albert was working with what he had. Val had everything removed from the apartment. That's why there's no spirit gum.
Yeah, but he went down. He could
And
have.
that's why Callista Flockhart had to give
With the barrette.
The other thing
Alberta.
is too, is that it's
bobby pin.
the other illogical thing. I can't believe I'm calling out the illogical parts of the Birdcage.
There's a couple. I have a few.
But it's just like they have to exit the bedroom to get back into the club. So there has to be another entrance from the bedroom somehow.
There is, because the
balcony.
the bedroom and her dressing room, Starina's dressing room, are two different rooms, but I think they're connected.
Okay.
Because you see Albert like after the no good, like one does want a hint of color moment. Go into a full room. It's not
Okay,
just a small
so I'll let
closet.
that go.
Yeah.
But enough time for Albert to know to get dressed, go through the many hallways of their chateau, which is not the right word, but and come through the front door. You know what I mean? I was just like, I will believe everything else in this movie, but I just went, huh?
Yeah.
I'm done.
I love Pierre and Tat. I'm gonna rattle through notes because we're on that hour mark, so we need to start wrapping it up.
Yes, we
as
do,
fast as possible. So
we're
Yeah, we're just getting warmed up.
yeah, I Franklin and Ryan can speak about things for hours, and it's always very entertaining the entire way through. We talked about the drag queen in the opening before they go into the culturally inappropriate dresses. Headdresses is what they are wearing. One of them doesn't have a tuck at all, and we're like, what? What is that?
Not there was a lot more meaty, a lot less tuck.
A lot less talk.
Also, none of them are professional drag queens, or at least that's not what any of them are known for. I've looked because I'm like, are any of them like star queens from the '90s? And they're all just like dancers. I mean, great dancers, but
Right.
I love Robin Williams when Val tells him that he's getting married. Robin Williams just downs the wine and just looks so distraught.
Are you upset? Glug, 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 glug. And let me tell you why.
You do this, you're doing it on your own, and then Val calls his bluff. I love the relationship between. So at the end, you see. I mean, throughout the whole thing, you see sort of the relationship between Albert and Val, and you don't see till the end that Val does consider Albert his mother.
Yeah.
But you see Albert is so doting and so loving. And Armand himself is also so doting and loving. And it's just, it's a beautiful family. And even Val points out, I'm the only family in my, class that
doesn't come from a broken home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a loving family, even though Val's being a little shit throughout the whole thing with that. That's what I have. Val was being a little shit.
That's a very valid, accurate note.
A Val.
Yeah.
I think we've touched on it briefly
you.
throughout it. I'm sorry, did I interrupt you, James?
No.
Oh,
No, I made a pun and everybody ignored it. And I'm very
wow,
upset about
I ignore
it.
you on a daily basis.
How
No,
dare
just
you.
the touching on Hank Azaria, who I feel like his career in the past couple of years he's had to redefine it. You know what I mean? Is that he's come to a point where he's learning, if not fully educated, that he's been a consistent portrayer of offensive stereotypes for at least 2 decades. And what's fascinating too, again, we have all of these very straight people, except Nathan Lane now, portraying these very queer stereotypes. And what's interesting is that I think I have more of a problem with his straight Agador Spartacus than I do of his gay Agador. You know what I mean? And that's just a personal note.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Is that it was just like, oh, well, because as everyone else's transition in the movie, you can still like see their like base character, if you will. Hank Azaria is such a chameleon of an actor, and I think he's immensely talented, but he still is portraying these stereotypes.
Yeah.
And he switches instantly from like, well, this is my offensive gay, and now this is my offensive, Guatemalan. You know what I
I cannot
mean?
wear shoes because they make me fall down.
Is an iconic line. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Very funny, but
You
it's
also pointed out that the first physical gag of the movie didn't happen until really that point, which was like an hour and 15 minutes into the movie.
It was the first like slapstick moment.
yeah, where everything else is either like brilliant, sharp writing, or at least vaudeville comedy where you have to think through the joke with it. The actual just funny, flat out, like literally trips over himself doesn't happen until the second act of the movie, which is like saying a lot about the film that could easily fall into camp. But they're always camp adjacent. They're never just, they do devolve into camp when it's necessary, but the whole movie's not camp.
Well, and at that point, that's when it really feels like it's a play script.
Yes,
Definitely.
its noise is
most,
off.
yeah.
It's,
Absolutely.
It's oh God, it's government inspector, a lot of like just mistaken identity. It's restoration comedy.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what it is. In the second act specifically.
Yeah.
All right, guys. One more note from everyone else. If you guys have another note.
Oh boy, hold on. Let me.
Gene Hackman plays a villainous character, and he does that in most of his movies, and he does it really well. Unfortunately, because you just want to hate him so much.
Oh, my final note that I want to sign off on is because I've been comparing. It's a good rounding up moment for me. Is that in the Lacage mythology, that's not the right word, but I'll say it, is that it's the Albert character, the Alban character. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. The Albert Alban character who has this like big come to terms with himself after the Armand character tells them that like, you can't be yourself after years of me allowing you to do this. I have to ask you not be yourself. And the iconic musical theater number, I am what I am. Is that revelation where it's just like, fuck all of you, this is who I am. But what I realized in watching The Birdcage is that while that moment does happen to a point, it comes later in the movie, towards the end when he comes out as Mrs. Coleman, Isle de Coleman, whatever, that whole bit.
Cordon Bleu?
Cordon Bleu, is that it's actually the Armand character who has that moment, and we're running out of time, but the reclamation of the word fag in this movie is fascinating. And it's Armand who has the I am what I am moment, and it happens like 30 minutes into the film. And I was like, that's an interesting switch. And that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, and I do like that instead of the movie being like, oh, fixing Albert at the end, it's Val is like, no, Albert is my mother. Albert is Albert.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Just point of that. Ryan.
In one of the opening shots, as they're going into the club, they're showing all like the funny things that kind of like go wrong in this place. One of them is
food safety.
Is don't spoil it, Cormine. Is when Armand opens the kitchen door and one of the chefs has dropped a steak. Picks it up off the ground, puts it back on the plate. But what really worries me the most is the man is wearing flip-flops. You don't have shoes. You are working in a kitchen and you're not wearing shoes.
They're on the
They
beach.
also talk about the Kennedys being there, so I'm just going to assume that the steak is going to be given to one of the Kennedys.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, in all seriousness, the Birdcage is one of the first films that I saw that had any sort of queer representation in it, and it's important to me for that, and it will always be iconic. It will always be a part of my history. We can talk about the issues with it all day long, and we should, so we don't have these problems again. But it really was. It came out when I was like, 11. Yeah, 96. So it came out when I was 11. So like just at that age of like pubescence and sort of like figuring out who you are and what sexuality and that expression means. And I had the Birdcage for that. And I'm just really happy to get to continue to still enjoy this film.
I liken it to the Love, Simon of the 90s. I'm sure there are probably better examples.
I've never seen Love, Simon, but I'm sure it probably is similar to that.
We'll be watching that very shortly.
Yeah,
Ryan.
is that
right now?
Yeah.
I need you to watch that now.
Yes. So I'm sure you all will get that reference, is that it was just like we hadn't had anything that was like, well, yeah, it's a slapsticky comedy and whatnot. And it's actually a very smart comedy. Like if we hadn't gathered, it's a very smart comedy. But at the end of the day, it was just like, no, it's a love story first. And if you don't consider The Birdcage one of the like top 10 American love stories, then you're just not watching it as the brilliant film it is. It just happens to have gay characters in their lives. But it is a beautiful love story at the end of the day.
Yeah. I totally agree with that.
I got one more note. Hey, fans, if you can send us a gold bedazzled windscreen for microphones, please wait until we have a P.O. box, because right now we don't have one, because we would love to have one. Would it be impractical? Absolutely. Would it make it sound probably a little muddy and muffled? You better believe it. But it would still look great.
How about we get a gold bedazzled pop screen? I feel like that would.
Oh no, it would still be bad.
Well, I mean, around the sides.
Oh yeah, around the. Okay, yeah.
If the screen itself was gold and then it was bedazzled around the sides,
encrusted.
That would be encrusted
if you
around
want
the sides.
To
that would
use
be a
it
beautiful.
And you set it up every single time, because as I've told you before, the problem with like the pop filter, the big one, is other people who record here want to look at they don't know. It's like they've never talked to someone on the phone before. They want to do this. Hey, yeah, I can see you now. Picture. This is the pop. Hey, how you doing? Oh yeah, that's cool.
James is not
what's
speaking
the deal
into the
with
mic
this?
right now. Just
For our listeners at home, he's doing it the wrong way.
He's doing it
Yes,
the wrong
doing it the
way.
wrong way. And it annoyed me so much. That's why we have these ones.
I mean, the whole point of my classes were to learn was to learn vocal techniques and things like that. So part of that is using a pop filter. So you don't have to worry about me.
Well, this is a pop filter.
Yes. No, like the big.
I know. Yeah, like those.
Yeah, exactly.
I own them. I only use
He just
them.
called you a pop filter.
I'm not.
Sorry, I blacked out and was thinking about poppers.
That's
Sorry.
his
My MO.
his MO. It's his word of the month,
My homo.
word of the year.
My Emma homo.
My Emma homo.
M. Night
And on
Shyamalan
that
homo.
And we're
note, thank
debilitated.
you for joining us this week. Before we, sorry,
I'm guessing everyone would recommend this movie.
Oh, highly.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. I also wanted, because it's Pride Month and we are doing this thing where we have, we're trying to do queer guests and things like that.
Frankie, you're queer?
What does...
I'm very strange.
I just wanted to ask real quick, what does Pride mean to you? So one at a time, just go.
Oh, I get to go first. Thanks, Ryan.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Pride
Ryan
to
pointed.
me, I am very proud of myself in at least the past year. I feel like pride is a constantly redefining term. At least that's how I see it, because we're always redefining ourselves. And this past year, I've taken a real big forward step with my own mental health, which has been exciting as an artist and as Frankie. So my 2019 Pride, what Pride means to me, is a constant conversation with myself. And I'm very proud that I am engaging with the Frankie that wants to be alive in 2019. A very queer, very body positive, very, very quiet, introspective person who has accomplished a lot and been afraid of admitting that. So because I'm gay, I'm very proud that I can be a voice now on safe and effective mental health. So ask me that in 2020 and hopefully the answer will be different.
I'm very proud of you, Frankie.
Why, thank you.
And I used your real name.
You did.
All right. Ryan, what does Pride mean to you?
I think pride to me is active, and in the sense that it's really easy to think that where we are now is so much better than where we were even 10 years ago, which is true. I mean, where we are now is much better than we were 10 years ago for some people. So pride to me is celebrating those wins, but recognizing that we still have a long fucking way to go. We can't get complacent. We have to continue to listen to one another. We have to continue to grow and learn from one another, and to continue to fight for one another. So that's my pride. My pride is being proud of the victories, but also knowing we have many more victories to win.
Yes, I completely agree with that. Thank you, Ryan, for that. I'm also very proud of you as well.
Thanks,
Pride.
Colleen.
So thank you both so much for introducing this movie to
Yeah, it was fucking
James,
amazing.
or helping me introduce this movie to James
I kind of want
and
to
the
just
world.
have Nicole watch it tonight.
You
Like,
should.
It's
watch
great.
it all the time. I do.
It's so good.
It's a
I got
a
it on
monthly
Prime.
event.
You got my
Yeah.
Prime. Go ahead. It's, a beautiful movie. Highly recommend it. Thank you both so much. It's very important to me to talk about queer movies and queer film and things like that. That's why I'm doing this podcast. James and I joke a lot about a lot of different movies and stuff, but the whole point of it is to promote queer films and to show that it is art, and there are even in the worst queer films that we've seen, there are some beautiful moments, and there are beautiful things that people should see, and these stories that need to be told.
I don't know about Make-A-Wish though, guys.
It has some moments. I talked about
The
them.
Make-A-Wish
Check out that
Foundation
way.
does a lot of good work. I don't know what you're talking about, James. They're very effective.
It's a very bad movie. We
Very
watched.
very bad film, very good
Was
organization.
a sequel to that the Ronald McDonald Foundation? What happened?
We wish. Then something good would have came out of it. But what you guys got to plug?
God. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Reminder, tickets are now on sale for the Chicago premiere engagement of the Go-Go's musical, Head Over Heels. That begins July 1st at Theater Wit. Tickets are now available at cocandyproductions.com or at the Theater Wit website.
Can you also send Corwin those links? So I
Absolutely.
can put them in the description. They'll
Bye.
be there,
I'll
guys.
add you to our group chat so that you can
Nice.
just
Nice.
hear that. Yeah.
My plug is tickets are not currently on sale. However, they will be going on sale very soon for the Fly Honey show, currently in its 10th season, Fly Honey 10. I am the associate choreographer of the Hive, as well as the Hive captain and ensemble member of the show. We go. I think tickets go on sale June 25th. I think that's the right date. I'll give you the info. But the show sells out every year for 5 weeks. Come check it out. Come follow us on the gram. The Fly Honeys are on Instagram at The Fly Honey Show or The Fly Honeys. Follow us on Facebooks. I don't think we have a YouTube channel, but theflyhoneyshow.com is a website you can check out, and we're all over the place. So
Heck yeah.
check us out. Come see our show.
Corwin.
Yeah, my plug. As you know from listening to this a few weeks back with my creative director and director of the show I'm in, Brian Fruits, I'm going to be in Macbeth this summer. It's running from July 12th through August 3rd. Tickets are on sale now. You can go to saltboxtheater.org. That link has always been on everything that we put up, but just go there. It'll send you a link to tickets. You can get tickets now. It's going to be a great show, and it's 90 minutes, so you don't have to sit through Shakespeare for 2.5 hours like normal.
Yeah.
90 minutes.
Hey guys, we want to give a big thank you to Steve F. at Hit People Guy on Twitter for donating in our efforts to get a AC unit. If you would like to do so, or maybe check out my other podcasts such as Mostly Speaking Sentai, I'll Get There, What the Hellmouth, and the new one, Hit It and Crit It. It's a D&D actual play podcast. Go to MLMpod.com. Also, listen to my rap music there, Marshland Monster. You can download all my CDs for free. They're there, MLMpod.com. Also, check out Nicole's Arts and Wares on DarlingHomebody.com. You can get prints. You can get awesome pins, buttons, everything. Check out the coloring book her and I did, the Gigi Allen coloring book. And she also has our Crumb Bums comics and her old Darling Homebody stuff. That's all I've got.
Follow us on Twitter at This Movie's Gay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Oh, yeah, bye.
Why does it sound like the opening of a theater performance where the orchestra's like trying to get in tune?
Because that's what I was trying to do.
Great. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
This has been a Marshland Media production, produced by James McCullum. For more content, please visit MLMpod.com. To support our network and have access to exclusive podcasts, head over to patreon.com/MLMpod and sign up today.